And started at the point, but Riley deserves his chance because he had a terrific game.
They're off and running with Darius Defoe winning the tip and getting the ball back to Scott Martin, who finds Dre Parks, who looks to go to the basket early, but he's well guarded by Lewis Thomas. There's Defoe from the top of the arc, from the top of the ball, and gives it to Parks.
Yeah, Lee Riley showed Scott Martin far too much of the ball, and Scott had good quick hands to steal that ball from him.
So now into Defoe with another shot. That's two from Darius Defoe, and as Dave's already said, it's like he's never been away. Certainly no lack of confidence from Lee Riley, going to the basket twice in the first two offences. And here's the man that probably want to get involved a lot more, Neil Watson. He finds Lewis Thomas, back to Riley, Thomas back again to Watson. Watson trying to drive to the basket, drops it off for the Chara, but Chara can't get to it, and Ramon Fletcher picks it up, makes his way to the basket, and that front of the rim, back out. Thomas takes a rebound. He has Watson, finds Riley in the corner, Riley for three, and in it goes. Half the lead. Lesko takes the rebound, pushes it to the other end of the court for Glasgow. Chara outside of the arc, thinks about the three, doesn't give it. Gives it to Watson, who turns the corner against Dre Parks, and a nice little 10-foot shot into the bottom of the net.
It was that type of ball movement and player movement that caused Sharks real problems last week, and Akara, when he does that handoff, he's so clever with it, so skillful.
Quite a fast pace so far. Here's Watson to Thomas. Nice cut by Riley, who tries to turn and give it to Lesko outside, and Fanoy steals it from him. And Dre Parks goes up for the 2-point shot from a great pass.
Sheffield.
Parks makes the extra one from the line. Eagles lead goes to 12-5. Here's a Chara with Defoe all over him, as Dave's just said. Chara pushing off, but Darius Defoe comes up strong and gets the steal. Ramon Fletcher behind the back, flips it out to Martin for three. In it goes. Great basketball by Eagles. And then pumped up Darius Defoe. Perhaps he just thought, well, we've made a good start. Let's put Drew Lasker in. But he's shaking his head again there on the sidelines. But did seem strange for him to come out so quickly. Meanwhile, Rocks have had their time out and have made no changes so far. There's a nice play by Thomas. Gets the ball round inside and getting two for the Eagles. Nice move by Parks. The other end, Watson slips, but he manages to retain the ball. Cara finds Riley to Thomas again. Another great pass from Thomas to Lesko. Lesko lays it in for two. That's two really.
Into his team, the ability to play together.
And Watson just misses a short jumper there. Eagles come back with a three from Martin. Eagles definitely feeling it at the moment. 20-9.
Yep.
4.5 minutes to
Back
go.
to the scouting report. Scott Martin trails the break. You leave him open, you're going to get a three put at you.
Oh, Thomas is throwing that straight away to Defoe, who goes to half the length of court and lays. Doesn't go either. Parks tried to. Oh, that was a hard pass to throw. Watson intercepted it quite easily. He's come down the other end. There's his floater in at the other end, coast to coast. Puts Rocks into double figures, but they're still only 11 points behind. 3 minutes left to go in the quarter.
Yeah, the floater is becoming a big shot, isn't it? Particularly with guys like Watson, who are trying to shoot over much taller players. And if you look at it, the techniques change. A lot of people.
Jackman outside to Martin. Lasker comes across, takes control of the game. Johnny Bunyan on, he's facing him. Nice hands by Bunyan and Lesko to get the steal. Lesko finds Matrikov in.
Well, they beat the top three, haven't they, in the last couple of weeks.
There's Johnny Bunyan now on. He finds Lesko to Thomas. Thomas knocks it down. Nice movement again. There's Lesko bringing the ball up now. Bunyan guarded by Hart again. Inside the keys, lots of hard work going on by the Eagles. And there's Fletcher coming up with the steal. Misses the layup, but is fouled in the tried personally. There's Olin Jackman now, comes over halfway in, shoots a three from more or less straight away, but that was because the clock was running down. Eagles thinking that Jackman was fouled in the active shooting, but the referees having none of it, and that brings an end to the first quarter. An excellent first quarter for the Eagles. 32 points racked up to only 17 conceded. Got to go though, and Joe Hart comes up with the rebound. Hart finds Martin inside the arc, but he doesn't go for the shot. Fletcher makes room for a three and knocks it down.
He's going to basket last week, completely different. He'd be right now, see where he is. Last week, he'd be most of the time under the basket, which I think really helps the Rocks.
Well, that's a nice play by Riley against Martin. For his interview with the BBL yesterday, he did seem to think that they were going to be on a while. Well, that sloppy play by Fletcher, surprisingly, and Rocks come up with a steal, and Lee Riley makes the 2 points.
Now, when he's, you know, the more time he can play, the better it is going to be for the Eagles as the season goes to a climax.
The Eagles making 1 or 2 changes. There's Watson once again with that floater.
I keep going to one statistic. You've got the 2 guards, Watson and Riley, have scored 18 of these 26 points between them. They really, really need a Chara to get onto the board in terms of points. I know they'll say they don't care who they come from as long as they get in them, but at the moment he's the...
Just can't make the point. I think the point about Watson is that the Rob Paternoster just didn't feel his defence was good enough. And that's a nice play there from Lesko, wrap around past the Chara, who gets to the basket and lays it in.
As soon as he gives up that perimeter role and starts to work inside, the better for him, the better for the Rocks.
Well, 6'10", and surely that's where he should be playing. I know he's probably one of the best outside shooters for a big guy, but he really needs to be playing inside. There's Parks on Riley. Riley can't get enough close to him.
I can't really I thought Riley did everything he possibly could then. That was just a great shot.
Yeah. And also the quickness, isn't it? The quickness of the hands. Matrikov tries to find a Chara inside. Chara gets the ball, he gets it back to Matrikov, and there's 2 players where you illustrates exactly what you said.
Yeah, do you know what? And this has happened since Makrovic came on, because Kara's gone inside and Matrovic is looking in for a high-low type play situation.
There's Dre Parks launches another 3 from way back against Watson. He's certainly feeling it now as well. Dre Parks,
isn't he just 2 tough shots in a row?
Eagles up to a 13-point lead. Here's Matrikov trying for 3, and he knocks the 3 down at the other end. A little bit ungainly it looked like, but in it goes and they all count.
He's effective though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is effective, and it's made a difference tactically in terms of where Chara wants to play now.
So now he finds Defoe. Defoe back out to Parks. Is it going to be another triple? He's coming back, and he's now backing Watson down. Great turn of pace, great turn of feet from Dre Parks. Knocks the 2 down. Very, very quick feet and coordination with his hands.
Well, Joe Hart certainly thinks a lot of that. He was quickly on his feet. He's on the subs bench ready to come in, and I have no idea if it's with Dre Parks or not, but he was really, really impressed with Parks' last 3 moves.
Eagles challenging Matrikov for another 3, and he's knocked it down again. Well, yeah, Matrikov found a Chara inside, but Lasker was there to steal. Strong pressure defense by the Eagles. Watson finds Lesko. Lesko trying to come inside, working round. Nice play by Lesko. Got round Darius Defoe very well and laid it. Parks faced by Watson. Back to Hart. Hart looking inside. Gives it all in Jackman, who goes to work on Matrikov.
Whoa, we're talking about footwork and a move. He came to this side of the basket and somehow scored a reverse layup.
3-point play gives the Eagles a 12-point lead. And they'll be looking for a stop here. And Watson turns the corner on Hart and looking for a 3. Ball goes up and the ball goes in.
I'm not going to say any of these more. I have great respect for Kate Webb as a referee. I think back 8 to 10 years ago when she refereed my young team, and I think she's developed into a terrific referee.
There's Olin Jackman now. He's driving the basket, finds Scott Martin underneath the basket. Martin can't make the basket, but great offensive rebound. Lesko holding the ball here. 13-12 on 10 on the shot clock, 14 on the game clock. Nice hands from Lesko again. And he gets inside somehow and makes that basket. That's a great play from Aidan Lesko. For the Rocks to get within 8 points of the Eagles. The Eagles will have the ball if he makes this shot for the last 8 seconds. He doesn't make it, but Martin gets the rebound anyway. Eagles have 6 seconds in which to get a shot off. Park's going to charge it. Watson can't get there. Goes back for a 3, misses it. Scott Martin just misses the offensive rebound. And that's the end of the first half. Fast and furious, 54-45 to the Eagles. Eagles with 3 players already in double figures. But Rocks, after going quite a few points down, did fight back well. And we've got a good second half in prospect here.
Yeah, I agree that I think the Eagles made by far the better start. I think they stunned the Rocks a little bit at the start, but they have worked their way back into it. And in both teams here, you've got these veteran coaches who are in the NBA like Greg Popovich, and people interview him and want to talk about his stars. And all he ever wants to talk about is the 6th and 7th men and the fantastic contribution. I think both benches today have made a really good contribution to what is turning out to be a pretty exciting first half.
Back to Flanoy, who goes to the basket, but he gives it back out to Dre Parks. Goes off the glass, but it doesn't go in. Lesko gets the rebound, and he has an early chance for Rocks to strike. Lesko going to the basket, makes the 2-point. They cut the gap down to 7. Scott Martin to Darius to 4, back to Martin. Martin turns well against Lesko, leans in, knocks down the 2. As Watson looking to shoot a 3, but Fletcher got to him very quickly. Steps back though and still shoots the 3. There's Machikov taking a great offensive rebound. Back to Achara. Riley finds Lesko again. Very active early on. Lesko, lovely pass inside to Machikov. He comes back out to Riley for a 3 ball. That's lovely basketball from Glasgow Rocks.
Pat tonight on the game, and the contribution to the Rocks is Makarov.
Stray Parks makes a floater from Flanoy's pass. Rocks had cut the lead to 6, and it's back up to 8 now with that Stray Parks 2. Let's go again. He finds Machikov. Machikov battling away underneath the basket, makes the 2. Certainly seems to be a bit of a find, this fella. Here's Lesko trying to make the 2. Doesn't make it, and Fletcher, great outlet pass to Martin. Martin could have gone up. He gives it back to Parks instead. Martin shoots the 3. In it goes from Scott Martin. These papers, and I'm sure he's looking to Machikov.
I want to make sure you know that these papers you produce for me are very, very valuable, because until tonight, certainly the more this game goes on, the more I think that the Rocks made a wise decision to honour him with a contract as a result of his trial last summer. Oh, nice play, nice play
from Martin.
Yeah.
He finds Parks in the corner, wide for Riley, but he hasn't. He's come on for Lesko.
Come on for Riley or Machikov, and he hasn't. Both have stayed on. Yeah. Well, they're playing well enough to deserve to stay on.
Oh, Flanoy throws a very hard pass. Really, that's a little bit of luck there for the Eagles. Great shot from Fletcher to make the 3, but the pass from Fletcher to Flanoy to Parks was a terrible pass, really, but the ball just came free, and Ramon Fletcher picked up and drained the 3.
The way Fletcher took that shot there reminds me of that winning shot Mike DeNuno took here.
Away at the moment, and Eagles not getting away at the moment. Nice pass from Flanoy to Fletcher. Another 3 from Fletcher, and he just turns and looks at the Rocks bench.
Done something that's so simple is they've gone to the hot hand.
Yeah. Oh, nice play from Watson. Beautiful play from Watson. Went past Fletcher as if he wasn't there, and Kieran actually manages to get the rebound. Gives it to Johnny Bunyan. He'll spot up for a 3. Doesn't make it. Nice rebound from Hayden Lesko, and a nice putback from Hayden Lesko.
Every right to expect to stay on the floor.
Interesting that Kieran Charles only got the 4 points. There's Fletcher going past Thomas as if it doesn't matter how big the
spot in the league.
Yeah, and I'll just check that in the next break of play. I'll try and bring people up to date. We're only 1 minute away from the end of the 3rd, so probably do it then. In the meantime, Scott Martin's made a really good 2 at the other end, and tough defensive play on Machikov. But Machikov showed a jump ball situation, and Rocks have the ball, and here's Watson heavily guarded by Alaska. He tried to get the ball into Thomas, and a fantastic steal from Scott Martin, and there's Lasker going to the basket to make 2. Take the Eagles up to 18 points, up 81-63. Bunyan makes a lovely move at the other end.
We haven't said too many things about Scott Martin tonight, but when you look at the scoreboard, only 1 foul, 23 points. But I'll tell you what, he's been involved in a lot of scrappy situations where he's come up with a loose ball and made good use of it, feeding an Eagles player going to the basket. I bet he's taken his fair share of rebounds. I think he's had a really good impact on the game tonight, and obviously Parks working well and getting open for the shots. But Fletcher's got a hot hand, hasn't he, in that 3rd quarter?
Only they look to make extra in the final quarter. Joe Hart on for the Eagles now. He has Martin going outside to Jackman. He shoots the 3. Well off, but Drew Lasker at this moment in time on the bench. One person we haven't mentioned because he's literally because he hasn't played a single minute. Christian Burns hasn't had any time at all tonight. And there's Joe Hart doing what Joe Hart to find Lasker inside. Rocks come away with the ball. He has Burrows. He finds Lesko. Lesko coming inside. Out to Thomas. Thomas shoots a 3. Again, nice basketball. There from Bantu Burrows, who got down the baseline of the Eagles and found a cut in Thomas, who made it. Oh, at the other end. Drew Lasker drains the 3 by 22 points. They just keep increasing that lead a little bit more and more.
And Drew Lasker making a claim that we should move our 3-point line to where the NBA is. So is Lewis Thomas.
Yeah, Lewis Fletcher makes 2 from 2 from the line.
Well, Sterling Davis is looking for answers, isn't he?
There's Bantu Burrows with a nice.
And he's given him one.
In and out of the basket. Watson turns the corner, finds a Chara inside, works back outside, and here's that Burrows boy from the corner, and it knocks his 3 down. Eagles just seem to have taken their foot off the gas a little bit here. The lead's down to 15 with 5 minutes to go. And, well, Fletcher restores normal serve 5 as well. Fletcher just dribbling around with the young guy, throws the ball into Martin, who Burrows his way inside. He finds Defoe in the corner. Nice jump shot from Darius Defoe. Watson will shoot the 3. No, he doesn't. Tries to find Thomas.
Nice defense from Amon Fletcher, and then everybody stands around.
Yeah, evidently he showed a bit of hustle there. That's nice to see.
Yeah, look at him, ready to catch and shoot as well. Now he's slid to the corner, which makes it hard for him to be guarded.
I was just going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if Dre Parks went for the 3 there, because Glasgow for the last 17 seconds will just hold on to this ball, and then that will be a final score of Eagles 103 to Rocks 86. And of course, unless it goes to one of the young ones who may fancy a chance at opening the door, Johnny Bunyan very sensibly takes the ball over halfway, takes the air out of the ball, which leaves the Eagles to take a win after 2 tough away losses, back at home, back in familiar ground, back to full roster, back to Eagles basketball 103-86. A good win for the Eagles tonight. Rocks battling without Alecci, and Murray did themselves a lot of justice, can take a lot of credit from the game, but ultimately it's a defeat which makes it 20 in a row for the Eagles over the Rocks now, and probably consolidates that second place.